Hey everyone, it's Daphne from Scrap and Create, and we are working on Microcosmos from Ciao, and this is page 6 and page 7, and these are going to be mirror images. We did the same thing on 2 and 3, and again, these flaps were designed really around the paper, so I didn't want to cut through this gorgeous image. So I've taken some of the key elements from the collection and made those into 6x6, and they either came out of the 12x12 and are one of the cut aparts, which is this one, and so is this one, or I used 6x6 on these panels. But both of these on the cover are in the 12x12 collection pack. There are some cut aparts, and this is from the cut apart. There's 4 on that sheet. I'm using 2 here. I'm using 1 on the cover. They're just really beautiful. The 6x6 version of this image is right here. So you can see quite a difference, right? I mean, it's gorgeous, but this just is really stunning. So rather than use this, I'm going to use the flip side to line the back of this flap. So that's what I'm doing. So we're going to go ahead and do both of these at the same time, just like I did 2 and 3. Normally I do 1 page per video, but because these are identical, or actually mirror images of each other, I'm going to go ahead and do them together because I can get this done in under 30 minutes, and that's a pretty reasonable length for a video, so I don't feel like I need to cut it off. And if you finish one, it's pretty easy to see what to do on the second side. So we're going to center these flaps on the mat. And for now, I'm going to set my designer papers aside. So what we're going to do is we're going to we're going to first verify that we've got our pocket. This is 6, 7. Yeah. Okay. I was just making sure I had the right panel. That was page 5. This is page 6 and 7. We're going to locate it here on the center, and I'm going to do that by putting a center mark on each one of these and then just lining up that center mark. So for the pocket page, the center is going to be at 4. And the center for the flap is going to be at 3. And I just realized I did not tell you the size of the flap. So you're going to need 1 for each page. And these are 6.5 by 6. 6.5 by 6. You're going to score on the 6.5 inch side. So you're going to have a finished 6x6 panel when you're finished. Okay, so find your center line on your flap, which is 3, and the center line on the pocket page, which is 4. And both those measurements can be from the top or bottom. It's the center. You're going to line up those tick marks and you're going to install your flap. Pretty straightforward. And I'm just turning it so I can see this better. Okay, there we go. Now we're going to do the same thing on page 7. Instead of using my ruler, I'm just going to use my grid here, which you can do too. 1, 2, 3, 4. There's my center line. And by the way, both of these flaps are going toward the outside, so this is going to be the spine. Both of these are going to open away from the spine by design. But they could go up and down. There's no magic. I just wanted them on the edge because I didn't want to put a slit in the paper. And this one is going to be marked at 3. Okay. As much as I like floating hinges, they are a lot of trouble. Now on this one, it'll be easy. It would have been easy to accomplish because I'm using a solid mat. But on page 2 and 3, I color blocked on the bottom, and it's really hard to figure out where to put the slit if you're color blocking and leaving a gap between the two. So that's why I opted to install these on the edge. Okay, there we go. Now I'm going to set page 7 aside. Let's pull in page 6. And I have to look at my paper again for a second and figure out which, yeah, this way it's going to go. So I chose this, and I like the flower pointing toward the open page, which is 7. If I did it on the other side, it would be sort of pointing outside the book. So that's how I came up with that. And this is going to be our mat that goes on the bottom. Pretty straightforward, but before we glue it down, we're going to need to put some magnets on our flap. So we're going to place a magnet on the flap, and then we're going to put an adjoining magnet on the inside underneath the base page mat. Okay. Oops. That was my skinny tape. There we go. Okay, it's ready to go. Now we're ready to go ahead and put this in. So we're going to dry fit one more time, and it looks good. I'm going to take the back off my tape. Can hear Nala's chain in the background, her necklace. You guys are probably getting a lot of the top of my head today. For some reason, I'm having a hard time seeing it across my project. I probably need to clean my glasses. Okay, now the next thing I'm going to do is lay down this beautiful piece of paper so I don't accidentally do something dumb like put it down on the wrong side. And again, this piece that I am laying down right now came from the 12 by 12 collection pack, and it's a cut apart. There was 4 of these. There was one with a blue butterfly, a red rose, a daisy, and I can't remember what the other one looked like. I think I accidentally cut into the last one. Yeah, I think I accidentally cut into it. So that's another thing, is if you really like these 4 and you want to feature one on all 4 of them on a page spread, cut them apart and set them aside. I did that, and somehow they got mixed in with my general population, and I used one of them because I really had intended to use all 4. So instead, I'm going to wind up using 2 from the cut aparts, and I used 2 from the 6x6 collection, since they're essentially the same size. The paper's the same size, the images are scaled down for the 6x6. So simple, but man, the paper really does all the talking. It's beautiful. All right, once I'm done with all my major layout stuff, I'm gonna go back and look at the flip side of my papers that are left over, because the flip side of the A4s is all cut aparts, tags and stuff like that. So I'm gonna take a look, and then I'm gonna cut some things apart and further embellish the album. So let's get our magnet on here. But I wasn't comfortable cutting into those, because the nice thing about the A4s with Ciao Bella is one side is all cut aparts, and I'll show you what I mean, like this. And then the flip side is a pattern that you can use. So I really like that, because I always cardstock back my cut aparts anyway. So if it's a double-sided design, it means I can't use it for anything else, right? You have to use it as a tag. But the way they do it, you can choose, and I like that. Stamperia does a little bit of both. It used to be, though, Stamperia's, all their tags and cut aparts were double-sided, so you had to use it as oops, I got ahead of myself, as that element, and you couldn't use it as a background. And I like having the choice. Especially when you only have 10 sheets to work with. Who can give up 2 for tags? There we go. got ahead of myself. Okay, there's our second magnet. Those are in. Now we're ready to put this beautiful piece of paper down. Isn't that gorgeous? So I'm just dry fitting it real quick. And it's inked. We're ready to go. I love my art glitter glue, but the one thing is it dries very quickly. So that's a pro and a con. You don't have a lot of time to maneuver the paper. Once you lay it down, you're pretty much committed. So the good part is the bad part. So you get a little bit of both. But I've used it for so long now, I'm completely comfortable with that. When I first started using it, sometimes I'd have to add glue a second time because I couldn't commit. So if you're using it and you feel like it's drying too fast, the key is to, in my mind, is to do that dry fit exercise, because once your eyes kind of visually know where you're going to lay it down, you can almost go right back to it. And you do that dry fitting, obviously, when it's dry, so there's no wet glue on it. So that's been my personal experience. But I also make a ton of these, so if I was only making one a year, I don't know. I might still have the trouble of making a commitment before it dries. Okay, we're going to use the same inside image that we did on the flip side. I just think it's really cheerful. Lovely. It's so pretty and simple, and it goes together so fast, but it's very impressive, I think, because of the patterns. So that is page 7. So here's our finished page 6 and 7. I think they look lovely next to each other. They're going to open up just like that. And this is our spine, so they're going to close toward facing each other. So that is the end of page 6 and page 7. Okay, that is it for now. When I come back, we will wrap up with page 8, and then we still need to do the inside covers, the outside covers, and install the pages. So we've got a little bit more to go, but we're making good time. Thanks everybody for tuning in. This is Daphne from Scrap and Create. If you like this video, if you would take a minute and hit that like, it goes a long way to moving us up in the ranking for YouTube and exposing us in a recommendation list for other scrappers. So we really appreciate that. And if you subscribe, you'll be notified every time we have new content automatically. You'll just, if you hit the bell, you'll get notified. Otherwise, it'll just show up in your feed with a little dot that you haven't, it's a new video that you haven't seen yet. We try to get something out every couple of weeks. So again, if you like this, please take a minute to hit the like and subscribe. And if you haven't already, share this with some like-minded crafters. Thanks for spending time with me today. This is Daphne from Scrap and Create.